For centuries, fishermen across the world have told stories of seeing something strange in the water. Not just shadows or waves, but figures with long hair, shimmering tails, and eerily human faces staring back at them. Some dismissed it as exhaustion at sea, others swore it was real. Today we're diving into 10 of the most chilling and fascinating real mermaid sightings fishermen swear actually happened. And the strangest part? Many of these cases were investigated, documented, or witnessed by entire crews. Let's dive in. It began with a storm. Fishermen off the coast of Toyama Bay in Japan were pulling in their nets after days at sea when they saw something trapped inside. At first, they thought it was a large fish, but as they hauled it closer, they froze. The creature had the face of a human woman. Its mouth was small, its hair was long, and its body ended in a silvery fishtail. This encounter became one of the earliest recorded mermaid sightings in Japan. Local officials were called and the body was allegedly displayed for villagers to see. According to accounts from the time, the creature was around 10 feet long, it had small, sharp teeth and pale white skin. Centuries later, researchers found scrolls and illustrations describing this. Unlike the Western idea of beautiful mermaids, the Japanese mermaids were believed to bring either good fortune or disaster, depending on how they were treated. Fishermen swore the creature appeared just before a major storm that destroyed several boats. Some believed it was a warning. The freezing waters of Newfoundland are the last place most people would expect to see a mermaid, but in 1614, explorer and fisherman John Smith claimed exactly that. While on a fishing expedition, Smith described seeing a creature with long, green hair, porcelain skin, and eyes as large as saucers. He wrote that she had the upper body of a woman and the lower half of a fish. What's stranger is he said he felt, quote, an affection toward the creature, believing at first it was a woman swimming near the boat. It wasn't until he saw the tail flick beneath the waves that he realized it wasn't a human. This account became famous because of who recorded it. Smith was not just any fisherman. He was the same man who became one of the founders of the colony of Virginia. His journals are preserved, and historians have debated for centuries whether he saw a manatee or something else entirely. But according to Smith himself, it was no animal that he recognized. Fast forward to modern times. In 2009, fishermen off the coast of Kiryat Yam, Israel, claimed to have seen something leaping out of the water at sunset. One man said he thought it was a swimmer, then the figure bent its tail, splashed the water, and vanished. Multiple witnesses reported the same thing over several weeks. The sightings became so widespread that the town actually offered a reward of $1 million to anyone who could bring proof of the mermaid. The fishermen described the creature as pale, with a woman's upper body and a shimmering tail. Some said she liked to appear at dusk, perching on rocks. Authorities investigated, but no body or physical evidence was found. Still, the story made international news. Even years later, many fishermen insist what they saw wasn't a seal or a dolphin. They swear that it was a mermaid. During World War II, Japanese soldiers and local Indonesian farmers on the Kai Islands reported one of the most detailed mermaid encounters ever recorded. The creature they saw wasn't the beautiful fairy tale mermaid. It was something much stranger. Locals call it a human fish. The fishermen claimed it had a reddish pink skin, a mouth shaped like a carp's, long arms, and spines along its head. It wasn't graceful or delicate. They said it swam aggressively and let out a shrill sound when approached. Japanese Sergeant Taro Horiba reported seeing the creature himself while fishing with locals. He described it as about 5 feet long with webbed hands and a fish-like tail. These sightings were so convincing that the Japanese military sent out patrols to try and capture one. They never succeeded, but official reports from 1943 still exist describing the bizarre encounters. Most people have heard about the Fiji mermaid, famously displayed by P.T. Barnum in the 1800s. It was later exposed as a hoax made from a monkey torso and a fishtail, but what many people don't know is that the display was actually inspired by repeated repeated reports from Pacific fishermen who swore they'd seen similar creatures. In the early 19th century, sailors and fishermen in the South Pacific claimed to have caught mermaid-like creatures with small humanoid figures. One British captain wrote in his logbook that he saw a, quote, shriveled womanfish with a long tail and, quote, finger-like claws. While Barnum's display was fake, the sightings that inspired it were real. These accounts were recorded by multiple crews at the time, and some naturalists even examined dried remains that have since vanished. Whether they were misidentified marine animals or something else, those fishermen swore they caught something unlike anything they'd ever seen before. In 1959, a group of Japanese fishermen aboard the Kaiyo Maru No. 5 vessel were deep in the Pacific when they saw something floating near their ship. At first, they thought it was a person. As they drew closer, they saw a woman's head and upper body with long black hair and a pale face. Below the waist was a long, scaly tail. According to crew members, the creature locked eyes with them before diving beneath the water. One fisherman swore it swam faster than any fish he'd ever seen. The crew was so shaken that they recorded the event in their logbook. This account became one of Japan's most widely discussed modern mermaid sightings. A few days later, another boat in the same area reported seeing a similar figure. To this day, no clear explanation has ever been found. One of the strangest mass sightings happened in 1737 in the Bering Sea. A group of Russian fishermen claimed to have seen a creature sitting on a floating piece of ice, combing its long hair. They described the upper half as a woman and the lower half as a fishtail, greenish in color. The creature then plunged into the water and reappeared on the other side of the boat, almost as if it was circling them. Terrified, the fishermen returned to shore and told others. Within weeks, more boats reported the same thing. This incident caused what became known as the Bering Mermaid Panic. Entire fishing crews refused to go out to sea at night. Reports continued for months before finally fading away. While some historians think they may have seen seals or sea cows, the detailed descriptions make this case one of the most persistent in northern waters. Not all mermaid sightings happen in the ocean. In 2012, construction workers and fishermen in Zimbabwe claimed they encountered a mermaid-like creature in the reservoirs of Gokwe and Mutare. The fishermen said they saw a pale figure with long hair rise out of the water at night. It allegedly made strange noises and scared them off. The workers refused to return to the sites, and the sightings became such a big deal that government officials brought in traditional healers to perform rituals. Local officials didn't deny the reports. In fact, they confirmed that multiple crews had refused to work because they believed a mermaid lived in the water. To this day, many locals insist the creature is real, and it remains one of Africa's most widely reported mermaid encounters. In 2010, just a year after the Kiryat Yam sightings, another group of fishermen near Haifa, Israel, claimed to have chased a mermaid-like creature through the water. They were out late at night when they saw what they thought was a woman sitting on a rock. She turned, splashed her tail, and dove in. The fishermen gave chase in their boat. They said the creature moved faster than they could follow and eventually disappeared into deeper waters. What made this story so compelling was that it was reported alongside dozens of other local sightings. News crews even set up cameras along the shore, hoping to catch something on tape. Although no footage was ever captured, the consistency in witness statements made this case hard to ignore. Some speculated it was a dolphin, but the fishermen insist the face they saw was unmistakably human. Our final story comes from the Moken sea nomads of Thailand, a group of fishermen who have lived on the water for centuries. In the early 2000s, a group of them claimed to have seen a pale, long-haired figure swimming just below the surface near their boats. They said it moved with incredible grace, surfacing briefly before diving down again. The creature didn't appear aggressive, but kept a distance as if it was watching them. Multiple fishermen saw it at once, and their stories matched in detail. The Moken people have a long history of mermaid legends, but this sighting stood out because it was one of the first they described to outsiders in detail. They claimed the creature's skin almost seemed to glow beneath the moonlight. No tourists or scientists were present, but the men who saw it swear to this day that it was real. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. Let me know your thoughts on mermaids down below in the comments. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.